Hi, I'm Sharon and my channel is Budget Crafty Mama. Today we're going to be making some yoghurt. I started making yoghurt when Tamsin had eczema and the ordinary cow's milk yoghurt was triggering it, so I started making it with goat's milk. She's since sort of outgrown the eczema a little bit, so I've started weaning her back onto most of the cow's milk yogurts and cheeses and things as well. So today we're going to be making it with ordinary cow's milk yogurt, but you can make it with goat's milk if you want to. I'll reposition the camera and we'll start heating the milk. Right, as you can see, I've just got some ordinary cow's milk. I've just picked this up from Aldi, it's nothing special, and I'm just going to start pouring it into the saucepan. I am making rather a lot today because Tamsin does go through an awful lot of yoghurt. She has it in the morning with her granola. She likes to have smoothies during the day. We just tend to go through an awful lot of natural yoghurt in this house. So that's 8 pints in there. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get much more in there. There we go. I'll be able to get maybe another pint in there. That's it. I'm to the brim. Any more than that and I'm not going to be able to stir it at all. Put those out in the recycling. So I'm just going to turn the heat on this. I'm just going to put it on a medium heat. I don't want it too high because I don't want it scorching on the bottom. So I'd rather it take longer to heat up than have like the horrible scorch bits on the bottom. I've taken out my yoghurt starter. I've bought yoghurt starter this time because I'm a bit late making it. So Tamsin has eaten the yoghurt starter that I put aside for breakfast. So I've just bought this one, and it's anything that's a live yoghurt will do. This is just the brand that's in my local Tesco's, so I've just picked this up. I've left that out on the side so that it comes up to room temperature. There isn't a full pot in there. Again, Tamsin's been in that since I bought it yesterday. So I'm just going to leave this to heat. It needs to get up to just above 180 degrees. I've got a digital thermometer here which will, I don't know if you can see, I can pop this into the milk just to keep a check on the temperature as it goes on. So we'll come back when that's got a little bit warmer. Right, as you can see, I changed my mind, decided to put a second pan on with the rest of the milk in. I've changed the angle of the camera as well because I feel it's slightly better. And these are just about up to temperature now. I'm just going to check the temperatures again. I'm going to give them a stir. Yeah, and that one is up to 185.5, so that's fine. It just has to be over 180 to kill all the bad bacteria. So I'll just turn the heat off on that one. And I'm just going to check the temperature on this second one. As I say, Tamsin eats an awful lot of yoghurt, so doing both lots in one go saves me, you know, probably having to do it again a week earlier. So that one is also up to 186. So I'm going to turn the heat off on that one as well. Now we need to bring the temperatures back down on them. Now we've killed the bad bacteria. We need to bring the temperatures back down to around 115 degrees, because if we add the live yoghurt to it with the temperature any higher than that, you'll be killing the live bacteria, the good live bacteria that's in your live yoghurt. So we need to bring the temperatures down on them. I like to leave them to sit for about 15 minutes to cool naturally, and then I'll sometimes put them in the sink with some water around the saucepan just to help it cool down a little bit faster. It just depends what I've got going on. and how closely I can watch them, because obviously I don't want the temperature to drop too low. So I want to try and catch them around the 115 mark so that we can get ready to do the next step. So we'll come back in about 15 minutes and see how we're getting on. Right, so we're back, and I'm just going to check the temperatures on them. Just going to give them a little stir. This one's still quite high. It's at 153, 154, 153, and this one is at 140. So I'm just going to run some cold water into the sink, and I'm just going to lower the saucepan in into the cold water so that it doesn't come above the pan, but the cold water will just bring the temperature down a little bit faster. So I'll just reposition the camera so that you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get on with that. So if I just turn the camera around a little bit, and I'll angle it down into the sink. So I'm just going to put the plug in, and I'm just going to run some cold water. So I think that'll probably be enough water. I might have to let a little bit out. I don't want it coming up over the top of my saucepan. And I'm just going to pop my pan into the cold water. And I'm doing the small pan first because as I'm working with the small pan, I can then put the larger pan in. I don't know if I've got a good angle there. There we go. So, as you can see, the temperature's already coming down much faster. I don't know if you can see that temperature. We're down to 131.6. So, once you pop it into the cold water, the temperature does come down a lot quicker. So you wouldn't want to pop it into the cold water and then walk away and leave it. So you're down to 127, 126.6. It does come down quite quick once you pop it into the cold water. I've left it in the pan cooling naturally for about 20 minutes. I'm just moving the water around because obviously it heats up a bit with the water of the saucepan. So we're down to 120, 119. Okay, 117. Right, so we're down to 116.2, 115.9. So I'm going to take it out of the cold water now, because that's roughly at the temperature I want it. And then I'm just going to pop, I'm just going to let a little bit of this water out. And I'm just going to pop the big pan in to start cooling while I work with the other saucepan. So I'm just going to turn the camera back round. You can see. So, I tend to get in a bit of a mess when I'm doing this, but hey ho. So I'm just checking the temperature again. So we're just below, we're on 113, which is fine for putting the yoghurt starter in. I don't know if you can see the temperature. on that. I think it's a bit too far away. Try zooming in a little. Don't know if you can see that. I'm going to zoom back out again. So I'm going to put my yoghurt starter into this now. And as you can see, Tamsin ate rather a lot of this for breakfast. I've only got about half a tub left, so I'm just going to put about 2 spoonfuls of the yoghurt starter into this, and then I'm just going to make sure that it's stirred in really well. I've already got my dehydrator warm at the temperature I want it at. It's sitting at between 110 and 112 at the moment, which I find works really well. But you need to research these things yourself, because I'm not an expert on this. I just make it for my daughter. This is what she loves. So I'm just getting the jars ready now. And then I've just got a plate to put my little jug on, and I've just got a little glass jug, and I'm just going to start filling my jars. I'm just going to move this back slightly so you can see what I'm doing properly. So I've just got my jars here, and I'm just going to use the jug to fill my jars. This is not my favourite jug for doing this. It tends to splash and spill down it a little. So that's one filled. There's a bit of a plop going there, so I don't know if that was a bit of yoghurt starter that I hadn't mixed in properly, so I'm just going to tip it back in, and I'm just going to make sure there wasn't a lump of the yoghurt starter in there. Right, we'll go again. It might have just been the way I poured it, but that's the second jar. I'm just going to fill one of these small ones up, because these are what I save for, they're called little jelly jars. These are what I save as my yoghurt starter normally. So as I'm doing this as like almost 2 batches, I'm going to save 2 of these, and whichever is the best batch I will keep as the yoghurt starter. So there's one of those, and then I'm just going to tip that into the jug now. I do tend to make quite a bit of mess while I'm doing this. I think I would have had enough of that to fill another big one, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll just fill this jar back out and use this to fill a big one. And then I will top that up in a minute when I get some more off the next one. But I will just pop these now, the lids on them, and to prevent them cooling down too much. I don't know if I can show you, but I have on my side over there, let's try and bring the camera over a little bit, I'm not working very well because I've got connected, I've got my dehydrator there. Alright, trying to unplug it so I could show the dehydrator, the battery died on me, so that didn't work very well. So I'm just going to pop these into the dehydrator, because I don't want the temperature to come down on them too much. and I will top up that one that isn't quite full when I've done the next batch of yoghurt. So if I turn the camera around now, I'll show you what I'm doing with the next batch in the sink. So as you can see, I've got my little handy thermometer in here, and the temperature is coming down slightly, not very fast because I didn't leave too much water in it. So I'm just going to very gently just trickle some water into the sink because I don't want it splashing up into my yoghurt. There is literally only just a little bit on the bottom of this, so we're at 128 at the moment. Right, so we are now just on 115, so we're going to take that out of the cold water, so I don't want it cooling down anymore. And I'm going to turn it back round. I'm hoping I've got a reasonable angle there. There we go. Alright, so just going to clean up a little bit of this mess. Right, so I'm just going to add the rest of this yoghurt starter into this. Scrape the last of it out. I'm just going to get the whisk and just give it a little bit just on the bottom, just to make sure that all the yoghurt starter is mixed into the milk nicely. I'm not scraping across the bottom because if there is any, see, I've just managed to catch a little bit there. If there is any sort of burnt bits of milk on the bottom, I don't want to scrape them up. We do want to make sure that all that yoghurt starter is mixed in, but I also don't want to be whisking it and introducing loads and loads of air bubbles. Right, so I'm just going to take the rest of my jars. I'm going to get the one back out of the dehydrator that's not quite full. And I'm just going to top that one up. So it is nice and full, and then I'm just going to fill the rest of my jars. As I say, this isn't my favourite jug, it tends to go everywhere with this one. So if I just angle the camera up a little bit, if I can, and you can see more of what I'm doing. I'm going to have to clean my cooker top off when I've finished. See if I've got any more large jars. See, this is quite a big batch this time. I don't normally make this much, but it's not fun when you run out and Tamsin eats the yoghurt starter. I'm just going to get my small jar as well and make another batch of yoghurt starter. And the nice thing about these little ones is you've got family or friends you want to give them to, you can always give them a little jar of yoghurt. And even a little jar of, you know, I make my own granola, so you could always give them a little jar of granola and a little jar of yoghurt, and they've got a nice healthy breakfast. There we go. Just put that little bit between the ones that are already quite full. And that's it. You just pop the lids on them now and pop them in the dehydrator. Try to keep the temperature at your dehydrator between 110 and 115. I think that was the one from the first batch. Just going to try and put all these big ones down the sides and the smaller ones in the middle, and it'll help the heat be able to disperse a little bit better in the dehydrator. It is a tight squeeze today. There we go. And I don't know if I can zoom in on the dehydrator from here. Ooh, not very good at this. As you can see, they're all in the dehydrator. Dehydrator's full to capacity. So now they stay in there for at least 8 hours. If you want a slightly tangier natural yoghurt, you'd leave them in for about 10 hours, but I normally leave mine in for about 8 to 9 hours, depending on sort of what I'm doing. So I'll bring you back tomorrow and show you the final result. Right, so this is the next morning. This has been put in the fridge overnight. It's been in about 10 hours. It should really have been in about 12, but Tamsin's not going to wait any longer for her breakfast. So this is the finished yoghurt. As you can see, it's quite a nice thick consistency, which is how Tamsin likes it. And I'm just going to dish her breakfast up for her. And I know it looks a lot, but that is how much Tamsin likes for her breakfast. And then sometimes I'll put fresh fruit in if I've got it, but the majority of the time she just has it with my homemade granola. And there you go. It's a nice healthy breakfast, a good start to the day, and Tamsin will soon devour that. It might look a lot for a 7-year-old, but she does like her breakfast cereal. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and subscribe, and that would be fantastic. Thank you. Bye.